Hi everybody! I'm Claire.
I'm Nina.
And I'm Lori.
Welcome to our video. We are here at Atty's World Cafe together with a very special guest. Let us all welcome Attorney Enzo. And we are going to be doing a
Question in Dare Challenge.
So, Attorney Enzo has been my best friend since we were in grade school at the Atty de Zamboanga University. He's a true blue-blooded Atenean as he also finished his law degree at the Atty de Zamboanga College of Law and very recently passed the bar examinations. Yay! He now works as a legal officer at the Cooperative Development Authority, Extension Office, Davao Region. So, Attorney Enzo.
Yes, Nina.
How are you today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me.
So, now Lori will explain the mechanics of the Question and Dare Challenge.
Alright, thank you, Atty Nina. So, we prepared a wheel of dares and questions. And if it lands with the question, then Attorney Enzo will answer the questions. And if lands with the dares, then kung sino yung tao na naland doon, will answer that, will do the dare.
yes. So, that's very exciting, Lori, no? So, wag na natin patagalin pa. Let us all start our
Question and Dare Challenge.
Let's first start na i-roll ang ating ruleta, and if ever it lands on a question, again, Attorney Enzo will answer, and then if it lands on the dare, then that person will do the dare. Exciting, no? So let's now begin. Ayan, click to spin. Wow, kaya. Okay.
question.
Okay. Lori, it's silly. Agad-agad. Wala pa question.
So exciting!
It's silly! It's
Go,
silly!
Lord.
Ayan na po. For our viewers.
She was not coerced.
Oh, kayang-kaya ni Lori. Just tell me, Lori, if you want water. Pero parang kayang-kaya mo.
Go,
Oh my
Lord!
God.
Go, Lord!
Ayan, wow!
Amazing!
Now we are done with our first dare.
Seryoso po tayo sa ating Question and Dare Challenge.
We hold them accountable.
Okay, next. Okay, hopefully question.
Okay.
Ayan.
Okay, so sa question siya naglan. So for our first question, Attorney Enzo, we know that the Cooperative Development Authority or the CDA is the government agency that is in charge of developing and maintaining cooperatives in the country. But like friend to friend,
Yes, Nina.
how would you explain to me your job?
Well, as the legal officer, I'm in charge for any legal consultation for our co-op members or cooperative members. But we don't limit our clientele for co-op members. We also entertain third parties that have any inter or intra-cooperative disputes. So we're talking about not just litigants or pauper litigants or indigents, but also businessmen, ordinary people who have any interest in any cooperative.
I see. So, paano yung normal day for you?
Well, when I go to the office, the first thing I do is check my email because usually I get my instructions via email. Then when there's any walk-in clients, we entertain them, we give them any legal consultation. And if there's no legal consultation, we usually do our contracts and our documents. We have the power to issue show cause orders or order of dissolution because CDA is a regulatory agency for any cooperative. A cooperative is a juridical entity, therefore we regulate them. So we look at their repertorial requirements, so we issue subpoenas, we issue or cease and desist orders and the like.
Okay. You already mentioned earlier, Attorney Enzo, that you also deal with businessmen,
Yes.
who are interested in cooperatives. Pero what are the other types of people that you deal with every day?
Well, majority of our clients are really from the masses because our legal consultations are free.
I see.
If they go to a private practitioner, they need to pay. But since we're being paid by taxpayers' money, we entertain them without any regard, without any distinction. So a majority of them are from the masses. They usually ask legal questions pertaining to their money, to any problems in their cooperative.
Last follow-up question, Attorney
Yes.
Enzo, kasi curious lang ako, since you're working at the Extension Office
Yes.
in Davao Region, ano yung mga programs ng CDA that is specific to the context and the needs
Yes.
of people in Mindanao?
Well, thank you for that question, Nina. We have the Cooperative Law Awareness Program or CLAP. It's directed towards educating our co-op members regarding any dispute resolution and their rights, because the legal officer usually enters the scenario when there's a dispute already, a legal dispute. So one of our programs is to educate them. We go to the different provinces, cities, and municipalities here in the, Region 11 in the Davao region. We go to the mountains, to the mines, to the farms. So this is really legal aid on wheels or on to the provinces. So that's one of the important things that as the legal officer of CTA that we do.
Actually, exciting nga yung mga IG stories ni Attorney Enzo. Nakikita ko palagi kung saan siya pumupunta.
Yeah.
And medyo nagtatampo ako kasi wala na siyang masyadong time. But thank you so much, Attorney Enzo, for what you're doing for our cooperatives here in Davao Region. Sige, we can roll our roulette again.
Kinakabahan ako.
Oh no.
Oh, Claire will eat!
Claire will eat.
This is a dare that says na Claire will eat calamansi without changing her facial expression.
Okay, let's see. Without changing, ha?
This is easy. Wow.
Wow!
Ang galing.
Pang beauty queen talaga. Okay, let's roll it once again.
Okay. Dare mo.
Ano ba naman yan? Tumawi ka agad. Okay, so let's read the dare. Nina will drink soy sauce with ketchup.
Sarap.
Hindi naman sinabi kung ano yung amount.
Go lang.
Wow.
Baka pwedeng ganito lang. For our audience.
Wow.
Okay lang siya, parang barbecue. Sige.
Next. Oh, we forgot to mention we have snacks here, Attorney Han.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Question.
Okay, question number 2.
Okay, question number 2. So, Attorney, how do you apply Rule 2.01 of the CPR in your line of work or the Code of Professional Responsibility?
Siguro, let's explain muna what what Rule 2.01 is to our listeners.
Yes. So Rule 2.01 rather of the Code of Professional Responsibility states that all lawyers shall not reject, except for valid reasons, the cause of the defenseless or the oppressed. Seeing as most of your clients who are members of cooperatives are indigents, how do you apply this rule in your line of work?
Well, thank you for that question, Claire. Well, I want to start with a constitutional principle. Now, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process. And when we talk about due process, we do not distinguish unless there's any substantial distinction. In our case, whether you're rich or poor, if you're a litigant or not, if you're indigent, we entertain you. So, as long as the case or the controversy pertains to any inter or intra-cooperative dispute or anything related to such, we entertain them. So we do not really distinguish. We entertain everybody at the Cooperative Development Authority.
Wow, thank you for that. But you mentioned that you cater to indigents, diba, Attorney? So how do you now explain this legal jargons, diba? We have these legal jargons or legal processes that are sometimes hard to understand to our indigents, no? So how can you explain that in a way that it does not sound condescending or does not sound too complicated to them?
Well, first, I do not really use technical words. If there's a technical word, I need to first define it or explain that in the simplest way possible that you could understand what it means. Second, I use analogy or story. I tell them a story wherein they're a part of that story so that they would be really interested and they could really apply the law based upon the nature of their controversy. So that's the two main important things that I do. I define first, explain, then I use analogy that they could relate to. Like if there's a farmer, I use a scenario in farming. If there's a miner, I use a scenario in a mining industry. So that's more relatable to our clients in the CTA.
Oh, thank you for that, Attorney. I think that's really important, no, since we're dealing with indigents. Most of them are really not educated to know of these words, big words that lawyers use. And thank you for that.
Yes.
Really helpful, no? So for our second question or for the follow-up question, Following the adoption of the RA Republic Act 6938, or also known as the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, how did this aid you in carrying out your duties as a lawyer to assist your clients or these indigent or underprivileged clients?
Okay. I want to. I'm really proud to say that with the advent of Republic Act 11364 or the CDA Charter, and with the publication of our omnibus rules for quasi-judicial power, we now have subpoena power, we now have the contempt power, and we could now call the aid of authorities in dealing with any legal matters before the cooperative movement. So with this adjudicatory powers, we can now settle legal controversies faster, and people would take us more seriously. Because before, the Cooperative Development Authority, like what you mentioned, the Republic Act, the former law, we were not really given any quasi-judicial power. Now, with the advent of that quasi-judicial power, we could really enforce our regulatory and adjudicatory functions. So the important point here now is we have an adjudicatory power. So in other agencies, they do not have adjudicatory powers. Now CDA, we have adjudicatory powers. And that's very important. Why? Because when there's a controversy, we have the doctrine of exhaustion of administrative remedies. So before you go to court, you need to exhaust all means in a local level. And for us, it pertains to an administrative agency. So before they go to court, they need to exhaust all means within the CDA. So it's like akin to a barangay problem with the katarunong pambarangay. Before you go to court, you need to settle it at least twice in the lupon. And if there was no settlement, there would be a certificate to file action. So that's the same thing with CDA. Before you go, it's a condition precedent. Before you go to court, you try to settle it within the CDA level with our adjudicatory power. If there's no settlement, we issue a certificate of non-settlement, and that's the time they can go to court. The beautiful thing about this, Claire, Lori, and Nina, is we try to exhaust all means. So our litigants, our masses will have no problem in a local level because all our services are free. We are being paid by a taxpayer. So that's the beauty with the advent of the adjudicatory power of the CDA.
Grabe na, for just one question, ang dami nating natutunan from Consti 1 to Consti 2 to labor law. Grabe, pero such an inspiration talaga
Yes,
si Atty.
thank you.
Enzo. And mas lalo kaming na-excite as law students na maging lawyers in the future.
My future pañeras in the field.
Sige, let's spin the roulette once more.
Feeling akin yan eh.
Question.
So, attorney, for the third question.
Yes, Lori.
What are the challenges that you have encountered as far as carrying out your responsibilities as a legal officer of CDA?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question, Lori. There's only one legal officer for the CDA, and I'm in charge for the entire Davao region, for entire Region 11. So sometimes, I already told Claire and Nina earlier, there are times I don't really eat in a day. Kasi ang dami. May price na ngayon eh. Kasi imagine the population of Region 11 and I'm the only lawyer for that. So the cases are voluminous. The orders, the show cause orders, there's really a lot to be taken care of. And it's a challenge, but I'm really happy and blessed to be in this position because former President Ramon Magsaysay said, those who have less in life should have more in law. And I'm really happy that I'm in this position. So ang pagod nawawala because of the service, of the Atenean service that we give to our masses.
So, for the follow-up question, attorney.
Yes, Lori.
How do you balance keeping this professional and the same time extending sympathy to your clients as being relatable?
Okay, that's really a good question, no? Because majority, like what I said a while ago, they are not really well-versed with the law. They do not really understand things easily as other people would do. I try to explain their case in the simplest terms possible, not too technical. And I try to give empathy, not just sympathy. So when we talk about empathy, I step into their shoes. I try to see things from their point of view. That's a very important character of a lawyer because sometimes we are so technical, we are so tired already that we tend to forget that these are human beings also. So we need to have empathy in the profession. So we need to see things from their perspective, irrespective of any biases, of any preconceived notions coming from our end or their end. So that's a skill that lawyers should have, empathy, and try to adjust your arguments, your explanation from their point of view.
And for the last follow-up question,
Yes, Lori.
question number 3. What are the rules in the CPR
The Code of Professional Responsibility.
proved to be the most challenging in your line of work and why?
Well, I think you need to have seal in rendering legal services, because like what I already explained a while ago, I'm the only legal officer, and sometimes, to be honest, it's really tiring. I do not have the advantages of a big law firm wherein there are several private practitioners. I do not have the advantage of a lot of money, to be honest, because being a government lawyer is not really the field that most lawyers would go to. So, in relation to your question on the Code of Professional Responsibility, I think in my line of work is the zeal or the passion for work. That really compensates for the lack of other resources, not just financial, but even our vehicles, even our desks, our bond papers. It's really limited. So it compensates with the passion that we do for public service.
Thank you for that, attorney.
You're welcome.
Sige, let's spin the roulette once more. Parang hindi pa yata nakakadere si Atty.
Parang ayaw yata eh.
This is the time.
Oh,
Yeah!
Oh, gee! Nashock ako!
Okay, so Attorney Enzo will eat French fries with
Ang
soy
sarap,
sauce.
di ba? Exciting. So, wala nang sinabi ni Nina na wala nang sabing ilan.
Yeah.
So, napaka-lawyer talaga naghahanap ng butas. Ang sarap talaga nito, guys. You should try this. Sarap! Guys, you should try.
Hindi naman maalat, no?
Hindi naman, parang lechon manok lang.
Sige, let's spin the roulette once more.
Wow, grabe talaga. Ginawa talaga ni attorney ang dare very, talaga. Thank you, attorney.
Very professional.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, the fourth question. Attorney Enzo, I hope you're done eating your very yummy
Yes,
French fries
tapos
with
na.
soy sauce.
Malunok ko na.
So, having shared with us the challenges that you face in the Cooperative Development Authority as legal officer, what can you say naman is the most fulfilling part of your job?
I think any lawyer, with the passion, the same passion that we do, I think it's the service at the end of the day. You could sleep at night knowing that you did your part in nation building, irrespective of the amount of money that you get, of the limitations that you have. I think this is also a challenge for future Atenean lawyers, Ignatian lawyers, because we are told that we do magis to do more. So I highly encourage you guys in the future to take the leap of faith and also try government service irrespective of the limitations. To answer your question, Nina, it is the happiness in my heart that I'm able to help farmers, miners, magsasaka, drivers, the transport industry. When they come out of the CDA, they know that there's a legal advice. They could sleep better because they know their rights now. So that's it.
Nakikita naman natin na glowing talaga ngayon. Parang siyang nag-kojic with retinol, with velo.
Yes.
So, iro-roll pa ba natin? Mukhang last question na lang ang natitira.
So for the last question, attorney, what advice can you give us law students, and to other lawyers as well, who would like to work in government agencies such as the CDA?
Okay, that's a very important question. I think the first is remember why you entered law school or the law profession to begin with. For law students, there will be challenges, low grades, retakes, but take it as a challenge because it prepares you for a better avenue in the future, so that when you retake that subject or yung sleepless nights nyo, you know better now when you talk to your client. That's the first thing. Second, don't compare yourself to others. Others would read more cases, others would read less. You feel you're brighter than them, but at the end of the day, it's you and your laptop in the bar exam. And at the end of the day, it's you. You cannot ask your professor in StatCon or in Consti kasi ikaw na lang yung lawyer. So you really need to understand the law by heart, not just memorize it. Because when that litigant, when that masses, when the indigent person will come to you, you know by heart how to explain the legal doctrines and the jurisprudence that you learned in Ateneo de Davao University College of Law.
Yes. So thank you very much, Attorney
Thank you for
Enzo,
having me.
no? So ayan, actually, Attorney Enzo, hindi namin hayaan na hindi ka makakain. Hindi rin namin
Sarap.
hayaan that you will go home empty-handed. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
1 million check!
prepared a little.
Wow! Oh my God! Thank you so much!
For
Thank
your
you po.
time.
Thank you.
We have a little note here.
Thank you
thanking
po.
for your time.
This is a gift ha, tax-free ito ha. This is a gift sa tax law ha. Gift po ito ha. Thank you so much.
Gratuitous donation.
Yes, thank you. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Attorney.
Thank
Ha?
you.
We are very grateful. And nakakataba ng puso no, na may tao pa pala na kagaya ni Attorney Enzo who's willing to help other people na without anything in return, no? Na kahit hindi siya nakakain, many sacrifices were made to help these indigent people. No? Salamat kaayo, Attorney Enzo,
Thank you
for
for
your
having me.
service.
Thank you for letting me share my story through your blog.
And thank you, of course, to our viewers. We hope to see you in our future videos. So,
Yes.
goodbye in 3, 2, 1. Bye!
Bye!